So in today's video, we'll continue our KaiserOst series, and I think it's part 18. And well, as you know, the war started with an invasion there at the end of World War II, after they got a fair way off. With Mexico, the Mexican forces starting to move in, and other forces move in. And now, is the blue team not ready to defend, I guess? Because Mexico had prepared for some pushes into core American territory as they move out from the south into Texas. Although then again, at this point, I don't think Texas and California was well populated. I don't think. Yes, it would make sense because it's probably 1960s, 70s, maybe. With them moving into some of the cities. America is getting ready. But with the quick collapse of Uruguay and northern parts of Argentina and parts of Chile, with a stalemate being established around there. But landings are made in a bunch of the islands, as a bunch of forces are headed for the U.S. They even attack Florida, but that one's a mistake. And this is around where the war starts turning. The U.S. is doing really bad with people getting angry. With the government launching the California push, which they pushed the Mexicans out of California in Southern America, the Mexicans still hold strong in Texas. And well, in Germany, you can see this is going on. Not much since that Great War. In Japan, due to being at war with the Imperial, because China's imperial, and the fact that, well, they want lands that belong to other alliances, they're most likely agree with them. And well, another push is made by the Japanese. Now, the Japanese likely not having oil cut off in this timeline, because Indochina fell apart, and their allies, Japan. With them moving deeper into, well, China, Imperial China, and Mongolia starts moving in from the north. Their new puppet. And while Russia has been brought back to its former government, with France also. With Britain being greedy and taking some lands. With China refusing to surrender, but its morale is completely dropping. And yeah, it's been a few videos of this conflict. With them launching like in one front line. Spearheads are started by Japan across the front. As Japan is making deeper gains into China. China's really hard working to defend this territory, because if they lose it, they won't have access to the water for aid, which probably isn't coming in. One could say Japan is imperial, because they are. And well, they're not the biggest threat. Maybe they would do a Pearl Harbor and destroy their chances. No Pearl Harboring. Okay, we're doing good. And then, Japan. The Axis thinking they could win. Then Japan, right after the Germans brought in the Soviets, brought in America. Yeah, not logical, but who knows. Within the south, the front is probably moving, but Mexico's finally kicked out of Texas. And with the first phase of an invasion of Mexico happening, which is to seize the north and secure the U.S. from, well, attacks from the south. So they quickly move into Baja California first, and then they say to Mexico, you want to leave? And they say no, which isn't a big surprise, I guess. And while America decides to move into the north, so like attacks from this pack can't happen. As they then decide to make a naval landing in Cuba, because they now have the naval dominance, and they move here into the southern part of this Mexican empire, which they use to open another front against them. This one is a liberation campaign, which is to liberate some of the lands in this area. And while Mexico gets pushed back right here, close to Mexico City. So they continue these two front lines down the coast. And eventually, these front lines here meet and they encircle Mexico City and manage to take the city. With them trying to move forces north, right in the midst of their offensive about to start. So it's not a big deal. They're not going to get kicked back far. And eventually, they cross and move into Colombia, which is a puppet in Venezuela, and a lot of people in these two territories switch sides and fight for them while they continue in to Venezuela and into Peru. With Brazil and allies realizing there's no way they're winning this. As the front in Chile starts moving north, and they're kicked out of Uruguay and all occupied territories not long after, more offensives are started into southern Brazil. Maybe not as efficient, but they are started. And they are pushing Brazil back in multiple fronts and liberating Paraguay and moving into Peru. And well, let's go to a different front. In this front, as you can tell, they're starting to do pretty well. With them managing to march into these lands. With their advances speeding up as China is becoming less and less populated. And while they're starting to move towards encirclement. With them knowing they can't lose the coastline, though. With this big area of China, and then they start getting pushed back. But guys, this is not the end of China. With this one area managing to get to this area. And well, one area, the Tanzanian area, or whatever, Tanzania area, decides they want to form their own nation. So Germany allows them independence, alliance. Is that the beginning of the fall of German colonialism? Will the Czechs soon decide they've had enough under imperial rule? Or is that it? And that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like and subscribe. Why should you subscribe? So we can get to 2,900 subscribers by August 1st. And that's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out, but not until you subscribe. Bye, guys!